Did Germanic tribes really conquer Rome? Europe's map shifted after the Great Migration. New kingdoms rose in Western Europe on old Roman lands. Historians call them Barbarian Kingdoms. Germanic tribes from across the Rhine took power. The Franks were one, destined to lead Europe's next chapter. Frank means free in their old tongue. They were strong from the start, an alliance of many tribes. Two main groups formed, the coastal Salian Franks and the Ripuarian Franks, named after the Rhine riverbank. Their leader was Clovis, chief of the Salian Franks. He united the tribes through smart alliances and marriage. In 485, he became king, uniting the Franks. That same year, he warred with the Gallo-Roman kingdom. The next year, he won a battle near their capital. Then, the Alemanni invaded, but Clovis beat them at Tolbiac. The Franks took half the Alemanni lands easily. In 500, Clovis attacked Burgundy, winning at Dijon. Burgundy became a Frankish protectorate, still technically free. Clovis' biggest win, conquering the Visigoths. Using Burgundy as a pretext, he invaded in 507. He won the Battle of Ouillé, claiming southern Gaul. This territory was nearly half of the Visigothic kingdom. Clovis vastly expanded the Frankish realm. He's seen as the founder of France and its first king. To secure his rule, he reformed the government. He moved the capital to Paris and created laws. His key move, adopting Catholic Christianity. This opposed Arianism, common among Germanic tribes. Rome itself saw Arianism as a heresy. Clovis allied with the Church, solidifying his dynasty's power. The later Merovingians couldn't match Clovis' achievements. They briefly held Burgundy, but the Franks soon split. 4 separate kingdoms emerged. These kings ruled poorly, preferring parties to statecraft. They were known as lazy kings. Real power shifted to aristocrats and administrators. The mayor of the palace role grew very important. This official managed the royal household, treasury, and decrees. Mayors of the palace effectively held all the power. In Austrasia, 2 powerful families vied for this post. Pepin of Herstal was born from their union. He inherited the mayor role in 680. Through force and cunning, he united the 4 kingdoms. He then campaigned against the Frisians and Saxons. These wars didn't bring him great success. Pepin's son, Charles Martel, inherited his position. Martel means hammer. It took him 4 years to seize control and set up a puppet king. Still, Frankish nobles often rebelled. By 719, Martel conquered Frisia. By 730, he forced protectorates over Alemannia, Thuringia, and Bavaria. In 732, Arabs invaded Frankish lands. They advanced towards the Loire River with little resistance. Their 30,000 soldiers had powerful heavy cavalry. Martel had only 20,000 and no strong cavalry. To counter, the Franks took a hill near Poitiers. They built a fortified camp. Arabs attacked for a week, unsuccessfully. Their leader died, and they retreated. Charles Martel became a celebrated hero. Once a rebel, now a victor. He used his new prestige for reforms. Though the Franks won on foot, Martel saw cavalry's value. It could shatter infantry lines and almost beat his army. He decided to build his own cavalry force. He granted land to vassals in exchange for mounted service. Warriors had to provide horses and heavy armor. Martel founded European cavalry, dominant for centuries. A new noble family emerged, the Carolingians. They were named after Charles Martel. His son, Pepin the Short, inherited the mayor role. But Pepin wanted the crown. In 751, he found his chance. The Pope crowned Pepin in return for military aid. The last Merovingian king, Childeric III, was deposed. He was forced to become a monk. Pepin attacked the Lombards, who threatened the Pope. In 755, he crossed the Alps and took their capital. The next year, Lombards besieged Rome. Pepin invaded Italy again, defeating them. He gifted land to the Pope, creating the Papal States. This became known as the Donation of Pepin. Pepin continued expanding his territory. He captured Narbonne in 759. He had to suppress a revolt in Aquitaine. Aquitaine resisted the new dynasty. They rebelled again when Pepin left for winter. He had to return the next spring. Pepin spent his last 8 years fighting Aquitaine. He died during another campaign there. His son, Charlemagne, finished the Aquitaine campaign. He allied with rebellious nobles, promising them land and riches. He finally annexed Gascony to the royal domain. Charles initially shared the throne with his brother, but his brother died after 3 years. Charlemagne, with Europe's strongest army, began his conquests. His father arranged a marriage to the Lombard king's daughter, but in 771, Charlemagne broke it off. He sent the princess back to Italy. An angry Desiderius declared war on the Pope, the Franks' ally. Roland's retreat was covered. Basques ambushed them for burning their cities. Roland became a knightly hero. Song of Roland made him a nephew, dying heroically versus Arabs. The failed Arab campaign. A Saxon leader, Witikind, was hiding in Denmark. He returned in 779 and started a rebellion. Charlemagne invaded, crushed it, reaching the Elbe. He defeated and forced baptized Saxons. Stubborn ones were moved to Aquitaine. Witikind planned a new revolt, spending 2 years. He allied with Frisians and Slavs. He also got help from the Duke of Bavaria, eager for freedom. In 782, Witikind was back. The Saxon uprising reignited fiercely. Rebels destroyed forts, burned churches, killed priests, and refused baptism. They also lured Frankish troops into an ambush and won at Sundel Mountain. Angered, Charlemagne gathered troops in Verdun and brought 500 Saxon hostages. He ordered them all killed. This became known as the Massacre of Verdun. Charlemagne then marched through Saxon lands. He almost lost near Tietmili, but beat Witikind at the Haas River. He still couldn't defeat the rebels or capture their leader. So Charlemagne founded Frankfurt, settling there for 3 years. He raided Saxons from there, burning towns. Plus, he deported 7,000 Saxons. In 785, Witikind quit the war. He reconciled with Charlemagne and converted to Christianity. He then vanished from history. Legend says Witikind killed Charlemagne, never forgiving the rebellion. Another legend says Charlemagne made him Duke of Saxony, starting the Ottonian dynasty. Charlemagne also didn't forget Tassilo III's betrayal. He recalled Bavaria, sided with Lombards. Plus, spies reported Tassilo III planned an attack with the Avars. In 788 AD, Charlemagne sent 3 armies to Bavaria's border. The north was led by Count Gerald. His son Pepin led the south, and Charlemagne himself led the west. All armies attacked at once. Bavaria was overwhelmed. Tassilo III surrendered, becoming a monk. Gerald became the new Duke of Bavaria. While Franks conquered Bavaria, Avars invaded Italy. They plundered Friuli, then returned to the Danube. Charlemagne invaded the Avar Khaganate but barely escaped defeat. In 791 AD, Franks, led by Gerald of Bavaria and Eric of Friuli, had a successful campaign. They took most Avar fortresses and pushed the Avars beyond the Danube. In 796, aided by a Slavic Horitan revolt against Avars, Gerald and Eric captured the Avar ruler. In 799 AD, Franks launched another campaign. Commanders Eric of Friuli and Gerald of Bavaria both died. Prince Pepin took command and ordered the slaughter of all Avars, wiping out their nation. During the Avar War, Charlemagne avoided leading armies, focusing on politics. However, in 792 AD, he had to crush a rebellion by his illegitimate son. Saxony rebelled again in 793 AD. He had to go back. Saxons rebelled 3 more times. His dukes suppressed these. In 799 AD, Franks subdued Brittany. In 801 AD, Charlemagne's son Louis, ruler of Aquitaine, invaded through the Pyrenees, captured Barcelona, and then took the Basques. But Charlemagne's biggest win was a new title, the Pretext. Empress Irene took power in Byzantium in 797. Franks believed a woman couldn't be emperor. So Charlemagne decided to be the new emperor. The Pope, exiled by Romans in 799 AD, supported Charlemagne in return for Rome's control. Thus, in 800 AD, on Christmas Day, Charlemagne the Great was crowned Emperor of Rome. The Frankish kingdom became an empire. Tragic for Charlemagne was 810, when an epidemic killed 2 eldest sons. So his lands went to his 3rd son, Louis, who became emperor after his father died in 814 AD. His first act, sending court women, including sisters, to monasteries. This earned him the name the Pious. However, Louis the Pious' reign was full of rebellions. In 817 AD, his nephew Bernard of Italy rebelled. He agreed to talk, but was captured and blinded, leading to his death. The next year, Brittany rebelled but was brutally put down. In 822 AD, Bretons rebelled again, fighting for 3 years. In 830 AD, they rebelled once more, gaining near independence. Franks only recognized this 20 years later. In 830 AD, Louis faced a rebellion from his own sons. They captured him and forced him to give up power. But a year later, they fought each other and freed their father, putting him back on the throne to settle their dispute. In 837 AD, Aquitaine rebelled against Louis, led by his grandson, who declared himself king of Aquitaine. Louis couldn't stop the Aquitaine rebellion. After Louis the Pious died in 840 AD, his sons fought for his inheritance. None had the strength for a decisive victory. So, in 843 AD, the brothers signed the Treaty of Verdun, dividing the Frankish Empire. The empire ceased to exist. Lothair still called himself emperor, but it was just a title. The Carolingians kept fighting, and their lands became precursors to European nations. Lothair's lands became Italy, Louis, lands, Germany, Charles, lands became France, and the middle strip, later Lotharingia, was fought over until the 20th century.